Let's be honest. The holidays can make even the most grounded parent lose their center. You picture everyone laughing around the table, hot cocoa, the feeling of, we're okay. But then your teen gives you the one word answers. Your young adult disappears into their room, and all that, quality family time you were looking for, that you imagined, feels like you're forcing togetherness out of a group project that no one volunteered for. It can be incredibly, incredibly demoralizing. You tell yourself, it's the holidays, we should be happy. But that word, should, is the beginning of almost every argument. So today, I want to walk you through the 10 traps parents fall into during the holidays, especially when you've got teenagers or young adults under your roof. Because this season tends to expose the gap between what we wish family time looked like and what it actually is. Messy, shifting, imperfect. These aren't abstract ideas. They're patterns I see every year in my clients and honestly in myself. So let's name them. And that way you can recognize them before they take over your house. So, trap number 1 is the nostalgia trap. This is where it all begins, where you just want to feel the way you used to when they were little. Matching pajamas, unwrapping gifts, the look on their face when you surprised them so effectively. That memory is a beautiful ache. It's the echo of your own love story as a parent. But nostalgia can quietly turn into denial. Because your teen isn't a kid anymore, and your young adult is walking through the door as a brand new person than when they left. When you try to recreate the old holidays down to the script, same music, same schedule, same rituals, you're not protecting connection. You're protecting a version of time that doesn't exist anymore. One mom told me, I just want it to feel like it used to. I said, you know what, it can't, but it can feel real if you let it. Traditions have to evolve with the people in them. If you keep the meaning, the togetherness, the warmth, the pause, but loosen the structure, loosen the form, you can still have connection. Bake fewer cookies, but you can light the same candle, talk about something new. The antidote to this nostalgia isn't detachment. So don't get me wrong, it's adaptation. Carry the essence, but don't try to force evidence of the past to come into the present. Trap number 2 is the togetherness trap, where you force proximity instead of fostering connection. We all crave togetherness. That's the emotional oxygen of family life. But when you confuse proximity with connection, you end up chasing your teen around the house like you're trying to herd cats in holiday sweaters. Here's what that ends up looking like. You've planned the whole game night, the movie night, the dinner, the family photo. You keep saying, come on, just be with us. And your teen's like, why are you making this such a big deal? You interpret their withdrawal as respect. They experience your insistence as control. Now both of you feel misunderstood, and the night hasn't even started. When you insist that connection look a certain way with the people around each other all the time, you lose the chance to see how it might organically, naturally unfold. Teens crave permission more than proximity. They want to feel that being part of the family doesn't require abandoning their autonomy. So instead of saying, you have to join us, try, we're starting dinner at 6. You're welcome to join us when you're ready. That line does 2 things. It maintains the boundary of reality, we eat at 6, and it leaves them room to come by choice. Voluntary participation is always more powerful than forced compliance. The antidote to this trap is shifting from management to invitation. You're not controlling attendance. What you're doing is creating space for belonging. Trap number 3 is the control disguised as care trap. Now, this one is sneaky because it's rooted in love and anxiety. You tell yourself, I just want us to be together. But sometimes a fear can lurk underneath that says, if we don't spend time together, maybe we're not close anymore. And that's when control appears. Let's all sit down. Come on, put your phone away. Be present. Get involved. Come on, we need to be talking. It's tradition. Well, what you're really saying is, I need proof we're still connected. And your teen hears it as, I don't trust that we are connected. Here's the emotional truth. The tighter you hold, the less reachable you become. When your need for connection turns into control, your teen's need for autonomy turns into resistance. Let me ground it in a real example. A dad wanted family photos before dinner. It's tradition. Come on, honey, smile big, he exclaimed. And his 17-year-old daughter rolled her eyes. He insisted. She snapped back, and within 30 seconds, they were both furious. They're not fighting about a picture. They were fighting about the meaning of that photo. For him, the photo created continuity. For her, it equaled performance. Now, neither of them were wrong, per se. Both are protecting something tender. He's protecting evidence of connection. She's protecting her right to exist in the present, separate from trying to prove something. The antidote to control isn't withdrawal or detachment, it's clarity. You can say, I'd love one photo together. I miss us being in the same frame sometimes. That's honest and vulnerable. It's not a command, not manipulative. Emotional leadership means you drop the choreography and lead with transparency. It's not do what I need so I can feel okay. It's look, here's what matters to me. I hope you can meet me halfway and I can handle your response. Trap number 4 is the harmony trap, measuring success by smoothness. Now, this trap shows up when you start grading the holiday by everyone's mood. You tell yourself, if no one cries, argues, or hides in their room, we did it right. But absence of conflict isn't necessarily proof of health. Sometimes it's evidence that everyone's just playing along and suppressing something. Real families actually rupture and repair. They don't pretend. When you equate absolute peace with success, what ends up happening is you tend to overmanage. You'll edit yourself, you'll tiptoe, you'll hold your breath. And teens feel that pressure. They sense the performance. Your job isn't to create a conflict-free home. It's to create a home that can survive honesty. If your teen storms off but comes back later, that's not failure, that's progress. You're modeling emotional endurance. So the antidote to the harmony trap isn't redefining peace. Peace isn't the absence of emotion. What it is, it's the capacity to stay connected through it. So measure by recovery, not by everyone's overall mood. Trap number 5 is the gratitude trap. Now, let's talk about that invisible ledger we all keep. I worked so hard. I cooked, I cleaned, I bought, I wrapped everything, I organized. The least they could do is appreciate it. Thing is, you're not wrong. You deserve appreciation. But when gratitude becomes the condition for your calm, you're basically handing your peace to a teenager. Teenagers rarely express gratitude on our timeline. They're still developing the perspective to see effort outside their own immediate world. If you wait for their appreciation before you feel okay, you're going to be spending a whole lot of the season resentful. So instead, model gratitude first. Say, I know this week's been hectic, but man, I'm glad we're all under one roof. That's leadership. You're setting the tone instead of waiting for them to regulate your tone. Gratitude is most powerful when it's modeled. You teach it by practicing it in real time. And here's the paradox. When you stop demanding it, teens actually start noticing what you do more because you've removed the emotional pressure. The antidote to this trap is generosity without scoreboard keeping. Let the thank yous come late. Promise you they will eventually. Trap number 6 is the family values trap. This one sounds like, in this family, we always, in this family, we never. And it's usually said when you feel something slipping, either respect, participation, closeness. But when you start using family values to control behavior, those values tend to lose meaning pretty quickly. Values should guide, not guilt. If your teen crosses a line of respect, yes, hold it. By saying something like, when you talk to me like that, it crosses the line. Take a breath and try again. That's integrity. But if the value you're fighting for is really about your anxiety, about things being different than in the past. So if you're saying, well, we always open gifts together at 8 a.m., that's not morality or family value. That's just anxiety in costume. So ask yourself, is this about integrity or nostalgia? If it's nostalgia, soften it. If it's integrity, hold it clearly but calmly. Teens will challenge your values because they're forming their own. That's not a threat. That's development. If you model conviction without rigidity, they'll respect your values even when they don't share them yet. The antidote here is invitation over enforcement. Hold your center, not your grip. Trap number 7 is the overinterpretation trap. This is one of the most common and exhausting traps. Your teen sighs, and you think they hate being here. They don't join dinner right away, and you think they're ungrateful. They forget to buy a gift, and you spiral. Did I raise them wrong? You start interpreting every small behavior as a verdict on your parenting. But often, it's not character, it's capacity. Teens and young adults are often running on partial executive capacity during breaks, tired, overstimulated, and decompressing. They've been sprinting for months. When they land at home, they crash. That doesn't mean you let them off the hook for basic contribution. It just means you separate skill from will. Forgetfulness isn't defiance, and exhaustion isn't rejection. Instead of, you're selfish, try, I know you're wiped, but I still need your help cleaning up tonight. That's accountability without accusation. When you stop personalizing their behavior, you regain influence, because nothing shuts down a teen faster than being mislabeled. The antidote to overinterpretation is curiosity and perspective. When in doubt, assume they're being human, not hostile. Trap number 8 is the overcompensation trap. This one comes straight out of guilt. You've been busy, distracted, maybe too short-tempered this year. So the holidays become the emotional redo button. You plan the perfect itinerary, the matching sweaters, the whole performance of togetherness. But no single week can fix a year's worth of disconnection. Connection isn't an event, it's a pattern. And ironically, the more you over-engineer the holiday, the more disconnected it can feel. Because the vibe shifts from, I want to be with you, to, you better make this worth it. One father told me, I kept planning things to bring us closer, but my son looked miserable the whole time. What he didn't realize is that the son was carrying pressure, not presence. Effective reset begins with acknowledging what's happened already. So when you're trying to repair lost time, just own it by saying something like, I know this year's been rough. Let's keep it simple for the holidays and just be together when we can. That humility resets the tone. It says, I see the truth and I'm not afraid of it. So the antidote here is honesty instead of overcompensation. Drop the production value, raise the authenticity. Trap number 9 is the overcalm trap. This one looks healthy on the surface because you seem calm, but what you're really doing is managing everyone else's emotions by suppressing your own. You tell yourself, I'm just keeping the peace. But inside, you're gritting your teeth, wondering why you have to be the emotional adult while everyone else gets to sulk, scroll, or storm off. The overcalm trap is about trying to perform serenity instead of practicing steadiness. It's when you're calm actually becomes a strategy to prevent other people's negative reactions. There's a difference between being grounded and being muted. Steadiness has warmth. Suppression can feel cold. Let's say your teen snaps at you after you spent the day cooking. You swallow it, plaster on a patient smile, and say, "It's fine, I'm not upset." And they roll their eyes because honestly, they don't believe you. And they're right not to. You are upset, but you're trying so hard not to show it that it turns into tension instead of truth. Your calm becomes a performance, and your teen senses it as emotional static. What steadiness sounds like instead is, "That stung a bit. I've been in the kitchen all day. You want to try to do that again?" That's calm with backbone. It models both self-respect and emotion regulation. Performing peace keeps things polite. Embodying steadiness keeps them real. You don't have to smile through disrespect to be a regulated parent. You just have to stay anchored enough to respond instead of react. The antidote here is authentic composure, not the kind that hides emotion, but the kind that contains it. You can be firm and kind at the same time. Your teen doesn't need a perfect parent. They need a regulated adult who can model what it looks like to tell the truth without losing their center. When you stop performing calmness as control, you start leading with credibility. Trap number 10 is the short game trap. This is the trap that turns every disagreement into a catastrophic referendum on your family. Success becomes about the event. You think if we can just get through this meal without drama, we're good. And that's what you focus on. But parenting through adolescence isn't about winning any one moment. It's about shaping the relationship that will exist long after this phase. The goal isn't a perfect holiday now. It's a resilient relationship that will have many holidays to come. Because the mark of emotional maturity isn't that your teen behaves perfectly, it's that they can come back after a rupture and feel safe enough to reconnect. Every time you handle conflict without making it catastrophic, you're teaching that skill. So if the night blows up, someone slams a door, someone cries, someone storms out, you take a breath, wait it out, and when things cool, you simply say, "That was rough, but we can start again. We're okay." That's what they'll remember, that being loved by you didn't depend on performing perfectly. So the antidote to this short game trap is playing the long game, leading with perspective, not panic. You're not trying to win the holiday. You're raising a future adult who knows what relational repair looks like. So let's take a breath here. Because when you lay all 10 traps side by side, what you start to see isn't failure, it's love distorted by pressure. Every one of these traps comes from the same impulse. You care deeply, and you don't know how to show it when the old forms stop working. Let's name the traps one more time for clarity. The first is the nostalgia trap, trying to recreate the past instead of meeting the present. Number 2 is the togetherness trap, confusing proximity with connection. Number 3 is the control disguised as care trap, where you use your care as a reason to micromanage others or to manage your own anxiety. Number 4 is the harmony trap, where you measure success by smoothness instead of honesty. Number 5, the gratitude trap, where the only way you feel valued and can enjoy the holiday is by getting visible appreciation. The family values trap, number 6, is when you use ideals as leverage instead of guidance. Number 7 is the overinterpretation trap, where you assign meaning to every wrong behavior by your teen. Number 8 is the overcompensation trap, where you try to fix a year's worth of disconnection in 1 week. Number 9 is the overcalm trap, where you focus on performing peace instead of practicing steadiness. And number 10 is the short game trap, where you focus on the event instead of the relationship. If you're seeing yourself in a few, that's good. That means you're awake to your patterns. You can't change what you can't name. Now, here's the good thing. You don't need 10 new strategies. You just need one major shift. Move from control to clarity. Control says, "Do this so I can feel better." Clarity says, here's what matters to me, and here's how I'm going to show up, no matter what you do. Control tries to force participation. Clarity creates safety for participation to happen naturally. When you show up clear about your boundaries, your values, your emotions, you make space for authenticity instead of performance. And authenticity, even when it's messy, is how families stay real. Clarity is not cold or detached. It's simple, direct, and kind. Here's what it sounds like in practice. I'd love to have one meal together. It doesn't have to be a big production, just being together. I'm disappointed you don't want to go, but I understand this isn't your thing. We're starting at 6. You're welcome when you're ready. That tone crosses the line. Can you try again? This is hard because I miss when togetherness was easy, but I am so proud of who you're becoming. Each of those statements combines truth with composure. They hold emotional weight without weaponizing feelings. That's what good leadership sounds like. Not dominance, not self-sacrifice, but leadership. Here's a small exercise to anchor yourself before every family gathering. First, name what actually matters to you. Not the schedule, not the optics, the feeling you want to cultivate. Maybe it's warmth, maybe it's humor, maybe it's honesty. Number 2, accept what's beyond your control. Your teen's attitude, your relatives' comments, how people are interacting with each other. You lead your side of the dynamic, nothing more. And number 3, decide how you want to show up, regardless of how anyone else is showing up. Now let's name something that rarely gets said. Every holiday with an older kid contains a layer of grief. You're watching your family change shape. Sure, you're proud of their independence, but you miss the simplicity of when you were the center of their world. That ache doesn't make you ungrateful. It means you're human. If you can honor that grief, it softens you, and then you can stop clinging and start appreciating the version of connection that's still available. Maybe they're quiet, maybe they're half present, maybe they're still finding their way back to you. It's okay, they're still here, and you're still the emotional foundation they return to, even if they don't admit it yet. Years from now, your kids won't remember whether you got the photo or if everyone matched for the Christmas card. They'll remember how you handled them when they were difficult to love. They'll remember if home felt like a place they could exhale and not a stage they had to perform on. That's the gift you're building. Not a holiday memory, but an emotional blueprint. So this year, drop the fantasy of the perfect holiday. Drop the silent scorecard of gratitude. Drop the idea that closeness has to look cheerful and trade it for something better. Presence. Presence that says, I see you as you are and I'm still here. That's the line that carries you through adolescence, through the college years, through every future holiday when they start coming home as adults with their own lives. That's the difference between a family that performs connection and a family that lives it. If you've recognized yourself in some of these traps, take a breath. There's no shame here, just information. Every parent falls into these traps. The difference is whether you can pause long enough to notice and choose differently next time. Because when you can shift from how do I get them to behave to how do I stay grounded no matter how they behave, everything changes. And that's where real influence comes from. That's where connection rebuilds itself. And that's how you stop surviving the holidays and start actually inhabiting them. If this talk was helpful to you, please like and subscribe and share so other parents can see it too. And if you're realizing you've been caught in a few of these traps and want personalized strategies to rebuild connection, schedule a free 30-minute consult with me. The link is in my profile and in the description below. We'll look at what's happening in your family, identify which patterns are running the show, and help you build a plan to lead from steadiness. not stress. Hope you have a great holiday, and thank you for all the work that you're doing.